So here I'm asked to, on the grid below, draw the graph of y equals 1 minus 4x for values of x from minus 3 to 3. Now for questions like this, as you can see, I've already drawn out a table because when you're working with set values of x and you're trying to plot a graph, the best way of going about doing this is by writing out a table of values and plotting the points so that you can draw a straight line through them. So we have x values from minus 3 to 3, so minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. And then we can work out the y values by substituting the x values into this formula. And then we can just plot the points that come up in our tables and draw a line through these points to draw the graph of y equals 1 minus 4x. So if I take my table and have this top row having x values and the bottom row having y values, I have x values from minus 3 to 3, so minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3 are all going to be the x values. Now for the y values, I'm simply going to use this formula, this equation, and I take my x value and I substitute it in. So for example, for the minus 3 to start with, we have y is equal to 1 minus 4 lots of x, and x is minus 3, so 4 lots of minus 3. So y is equal to 1 minus 12, which is equal to 1 plus 12, because the minuses cancel out, and give me an answer of 13. So then I'd substitute 13 into here. And now I know that I have to plot the point on my graph, minus 3, 13. That is going to be a point on my graph. So I can do the same thing. So for minus 2, 1 minus 4 lots of minus 2, and that gives me an answer of 9. For minus 1, I'm going to get an answer of 5. 0 is going to come out as 1, as that's the y-intercept of the graph. So that's going to be the plus c part, which is 1 in this equation. For 1, I get minus 3, minus 7, and then minus 11 here. So now that I've got all of these points, I can start plotting them on my graph. So when x is minus 3, y is going to be 13, and I can find that point and plot it with an x on my graph. For minus 2, it will be 9. So similarly there, minus 1 is 5, 0 will be 1, and you can already see the line emerging. So 1 will be minus 3, 2 minus 7, and finally 3 minus 11. And as you're going, you should see all of these points are going to form a straight line. I can then simply take my ruler and I'll draw a line through all the points, going through all of the points, and that's my line of y equals 1 minus 4x. So as for how the marks are going to be awarded here, I'll get one of the marks for correctly stating or plotting 2 of these different points. So I could state the coordinates or plot 2 of these points correctly. I'd get a second mark for having a correct straight line segment that's going to go through at least 3 of the points. So a straight line needs to go through 3 of these points that are correct. And I'd get the third and final mark for having a completely correct straight line between the x values of minus 3 and 3.